A lot of times, if you are cleaning the living room for your parents, they'll let you keep the change that you find in the cushions. I'm Ronnie, and you're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. When you clean along with this show, you'll get more done in less time so you can spend the rest of your day doing what matters most to you. Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through cleaning your living room. For the most part, it's going to be a speed clean, but we are going to do an important deep cleaning task, and that's removing the cushions and dealing with all that trash, debris, and whatever else is lurking under your couch cushions. We're going to get that cleaned up. But first, we're going to take care of the surface cleaning. So the first thing I want you to do is quickly pick up the floor, okay? You might have shoes, kids' toys, pet toys, a purse, just any random items that are in the living room floor right now and don't belong. You're going to quickly pick those up and take them to the room where they go, put them away, and come right back. Don't get sidetracked while putting things away. Sometimes when we're cleaning, there's a tendency to get sidetracked, which is why in my recent bonus episode geared toward teenagers, I had them throw everything in a basket or box to be redistributed after the cleaning session. But in today's episode, we're just picking up the living room, so it shouldn't take too long to put things where they go. If you find somebody's shoes, take those shoes to their closet, put the toys in the toy boxes, and so on. In case you're new to the show, most of my episodes are not geared toward kids. They're geared toward adults, but off and on for the next few weeks, I'm throwing in some episodes geared toward my younger listeners because I recently found out that lots of older kids, teenagers, and even young adults living at home do clean along with my show. So I'm throwing a few episodes in for you. And since I don't do this very often, I'm going to be linking to these episodes on my website, cleanwithmepodcast.com, so that you can go back and listen to them later. Some of you will have more clutter on your living room floor than others. For example, my husband was babysitting my 2-year-old grandson and 1-year-old granddaughter for a little while. When I walked in, there were just clean diapers strewn all over the living room. My granddaughter just pulled them out of the diaper bag and just scattered them all over. So sometimes little ones make messes. Other times pets make messes. One of our dogs is notorious for just pulling the stuffing out of every dog toy. Any stuffed dog toy, she'll just destroy it immediately. So I don't know if you have a lot of clutter to pick up on your living room floor or a little, so I'll let you know what's ahead since some of you might be ready to move on to upper surfaces. The next thing you'll do after clearing any clutter from the living room floor is to remove anything from the couch, coffee table, end tables, and other furniture. Maybe you have a bookshelf, a TV stand, a piano. You're going to remove anything that doesn't belong. Obviously, there are decorations and things that belong on surfaces. For example, we have 2 throw pillows on each couch. On our end table, we have a lamp, and the TV remote is usually either on the TV stand or on the end table. But nothing permanently belongs on the top of our coffee table. You might have a plant or some other decoration there. The reason we don't keep anything there is because we have a pop-up coffee table that has storage space, so we open that up. And it also kind of doubles as a desk or a table for when people are eating in front of the TV. Everyone's house is different, but I want you to clear the floor and then remove any clutter from surfaces that doesn't belong. Maybe somebody left a cup or a can on the end table. let's get all of that stuff put away where it goes. And if you're cleaning in the morning, it might feel good to open the blinds or the curtains and let some natural light into the room. That always feels good. And sometimes it speeds me up because I don't want somebody who's walking by to look in and see a thrashed living room like what I came home to earlier with those diapers everywhere. And just to clarify, they were clean diapers, not dirty ones. Now, this part is the speed clean. So when you're putting things away, I want you to just rush to put it away and put it where it goes. If somebody's shoes were left out, run those to their room and put them in their closet. If a dog shredded a stuffed animal or something and you're throwing away the trash, get that thrown away in the kitchen wastebasket or wherever the nearest trash is and come right back. I mentioned throw pillows on the couch, but there's no reason to straighten those because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take your couch apart. Now, there's two different ways to do this step. Okay, you're going to remove at least the bottom cushions of the couch to reveal what's underneath. The back cushions of your couch may or may not be removable. Mine are attached. But the bottom ones are almost always removable. So you're going to remove those and set them aside. Now, if you happen to have a cardboard box, you could use that and then grab a broom and sweep all that debris and toys and trash and whatever is under those cushions. Some of you have a lot under your cushions, okay? I know these things because I'm a mom. If you have a cardboard box or something, one way you can go about cleaning out this area is by sweeping everything into the box, whether it's something you're going to keep or not, and then sorting through it. Or you can sort through this stuff right there in the floor. It's up to you. So for me, if I had a large cardboard box handy, I would probably sweep everything from under the cushions into that box. And then I would remove anything I want to keep, and the rest would get dumped into the trash. Okay, that's one way of doing it. The other way would be to just take the couch apart and grab anything that you want to keep and make a pile of stuff like that. Just stuff that needs to be put away. Pens, pencils, socks. These are the types of things that you find in the couch. Your long lost watch. You can make a pile of things like that and then grab all of the trash and throw that away to where there's nothing smaller than a Cheerio left. And then the final step would be to vacuum all of those crumbs out of the cushion. Okay. So by now you've cleared the floor. You've removed any surface clutter from your couches, your end tables, your other living room furniture. But now you've removed those couch cushions and you're getting rid of that stuff. The other day, we actually moved our couch. And if you're strong enough to move the couch, you have somebody there to help you, you can do that too. And even deal with whatever is under your couch and was behind your couch. Because the other day we moved our couch and for some reason we found several paper plates and several empty plastic water bottles. And I think what it is sometimes my kids are setting a paper plate on the back of the couch and then it falls behind. I know that sounds super weird, but for some reason that's what happened. But more often than not, we find lots of pens, pencils, Cheerios from my toddler grandkids visiting, random toys, socks, and other debris. And what about money? A lot of times if you are cleaning the living room for your parents, they'll let you keep the change that you find in the cushions. And sometimes that can really add up. And I know it can feel overwhelming when you find all of this junk in your cushions and you're like, now I've got to go through all this stuff. But it pretty much falls into 3 categories, okay? The stuff you find. Stuff you need to put away, and that could be things like pencils, socks, and just crazy random items that you're keeping. And then the second category is trash. The empty water bottles, the paper plates, those were actually under our couch, but you might be cleaning under your couch as well. But at least clean out the cushions. You can always clean under your couches another day when you have help there to move the couches. I know 2 of my nephews are probably listening to this episode and working together right now, and they're probably cleaning out their cushions and cleaning debris from under the couch. And even if you can't move the couches, a lot of times you can use a broom to drag everything out from under there. That's often what I do when I'm cleaning under my bed. It's a king-size bed, and I can't reach very far under it, so I use a broom to pull anything out. And if you're wondering why there's a lot under my bed, it's the same dog who shreds stuffed toys. She also hoards things. She likes to take things under my bed, especially trash. She even steals things right out of the trash can sometimes when we're not around. And she also puts a lot of trash in her kennel as well. She's like a pack rat. But I told you 2 categories: stuff you're keeping, stuff you're throwing away. The third category is stuff that is the size of a Cheerio or smaller, and so it can be vacuumed up without damaging your vacuum. I usually tell my kids as a rule of thumb, don't vacuum up anything larger than a Cheerio. Okay, it's not good for your vacuum to vacuum up a penny or some other item that's larger than a Cheerio. And sometimes it can break the belt. And when we break a vacuum belt, I get kind of upset because it often means that the person was being a little lazy, meaning they saw something that they knew they shouldn't vacuum up and they vacuumed it anyway, or they shoved the vacuum under something, like they pushed it under a bed where they couldn't see and they didn't even know what they were trying to vacuum up. Now, I realize belts do break over time. I'm talking about vacuum belts, but you don't want to do something that causes it to break. So it's important to pick up the big trash and always look where you're vacuuming. And when I'm talking about vacuuming the couch cushions, if you're big and strong enough, you might be lifting up the vacuum and doing it that way. Or you might find it more convenient, or even if you are big and strong, you might find it more convenient and more efficient to use that hose attachment and use that to suck up the crumbs from the cushions. But cleaning out your couch cushions can be like a treasure hunt, because I can almost guarantee you're going to find at least a little bit of change in there and something else that you haven't seen in a while and that you're glad you found. Now, if you did sweep all of that debris into a box, be sure to pull out anything you're going to keep before you dump that box in the trash. And of course, the final step will be to vacuum out the cushions, but you may have been doing it another way. You may have been just grabbing things out. Not everybody has tons of debris in their couches, but if it's been a while, you probably have a lot of stuff. No judgment here if you have a lot of stuff in your cushions. It happens over time, and we all get busy doing other things, and we get into a routine of picking up our living room and dusting the furniture and vacuuming, but not necessarily opening up the cushions or reaching under the couch or moving the couch. It's just one of those bonus chores that you've got to do once in a while. And like I said, it could be like a treasure hunt. But don't get sidetracked. If you find something really cool, that doesn't mean stop working. Just put it in the keep pile or go put it in your room real quick and come right back. If you need more time to finish this job, pause the episode. But I know you're speed cleaning, and I know two or three of you might be working together on this. So I'm going to talk about the next step, and that's dusting off your surfaces. Remember when I talked about clearing things off of the end table or coffee table that don't permanently belong there? Now it's time to dust. So maybe you have a feather duster or some other dusting tool, or maybe you're just using a dry microfiber cloth, or maybe you have a furniture dusting spray that you're going to spray on first and then wipe that off with a cloth. That's often a good idea when you're cleaning wooden furniture. So let's get those surfaces dusted. And remember when I talked about opening the blinds or the curtains? If you're cleaning during the day, okay, it might be evening and there might not be a lot of daylight, but chances are you've let some light in, and that can help you see the dust a little bit better when you're dusting. If you're allowed to dust your TV screen, because some of you might be too young, but if you can dust the TV screen, and it's not a wall mount TV, make sure that you're being super careful not to knock it over. Make sure that your parent wants you to dust it before you begin. But when you go to dust that TV screen, if it's standing on a TV stand instead of being attached to the wall, you're going to want to hold it with one hand on the side so that you don't tip it over, and be very careful and gentle when you're dusting it. When I dust the TV, I usually use a damp microfiber cloth with very little water on it. So maybe you need to take that cloth to the bathroom and get a little bit of water on it, and then come back and gently dust the TV screen. And the key to dusting your TV screen is to use only a little bit of water, but then wipe it several times so that you don't leave streaks. And something called a microfiber cloth works best for this. If you don't know what that is, ask your parent for one. And if they don't have one, they'll let you know what they use to dust the TV screen, and they'll provide that for you. If you're an adult listening, you might want to dust your ceiling fan. For that, you'd get a stepladder and maybe even put a pillowcase around the fan blades. That's one way people do it, and just slide that dust off. Or you probably have a dusting tool on a pole or a dust mop that you can use. So if you're an adult, go ahead and dust that ceiling fan that's super high up. And cleaners of all ages, look at the corners of the room, look up, see if there are any cobwebs that you can maybe reach with a mop or a broom and knock those out. Hopefully you don't have any cobwebs because you clean regularly, but no judgment here if you do. Sometimes we get busy and we skip some of these deep cleaning chores. We pick up and we vacuum, but sometimes we go a while without dusting or checking for cobwebs. And I realize that I can talk faster than you can clean. It's okay if you don't do every single bonus task that I mention. Maybe you didn't clean the ceiling fan. Maybe you didn't look for cobwebs necessarily, but you dusted the furniture. Or maybe you're still dealing with all that debris you found in the couch. As long as you finish by the end of the episode, that's great. But a lot of you are ready to move on to windowsills. For windowsills, that's that little ledge at the bottom of the window. You can wipe that out with a damp cloth. Maybe you need to lift the bottom of your blinds to do that. Or you can also use a pre-moistened cleaning wipe. Okay, like a disinfecting wipe, a Lysol wipe, a Clorox wipe, Open Nature, whatever brand you use. Or just use a damp cloth. Or even a feather duster. Even dry dusting can work. But I typically use a damp rag or a cleaning wipe when I'm wiping out the windowsills. And it doesn't take long at all to give those windowsills a quick swipe. If you're not going to vacuum or sweep the room today, another thing you can do is dust the baseboards. And a little trick, that's that strip of wood at the bottom of the wall where your wall meets the floor, that strip there, that's called a baseboard. The trick to dusting those is to dry dust them first before you wipe them down with something wet. So if you have some type of a dusting tool or a brush, a cleaning brush of some kind, getting that surface dust off of it first can keep it from getting grimy when you go to wipe it off with something damp. And usually on this show, I recommend that someone just pick one baseboard and clean it, and then clean another one during another cleaning session. So that's kind of a bonus task that you may or may not have time to do. But a lot of you want to vacuum or sweep because that's such an important finishing touch that makes your living room look beautiful. So if you haven't vacuumed out the couch under where the cushions were, quickly do that and then vacuum the floor. Or if you have a hard floor, sweep the floor. Okay? But I want you to finish out by vacuuming the room, and I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to do that. You don't want to vacuum too quickly because you want to make sure you're doing it row by row and you're going slow enough to suck up all that debris out of your carpeting. But it's not going to take you long because it's just one room. Or your parents might have a rule that when you vacuum the living room, it includes another nearby area. For example, my kids are supposed to vacuum the living area, which includes the tile entry hall by the front door and the hallway. So that's something that I include. I call it an outer areas pick vac, meaning they've got to pick up like we did at the beginning, and then they've got to vacuum. And that's an everyday thing. Every day at our house, by someone's name on the chore list, it says to do an outer areas pick vac. It's a different kid, it rotates, but they have to do that every day. But some days are deeper cleaning days where we dust, we clean out the couch cushions, we clean under the couch, behind the couch. And sometimes we do bonus chores like dusting the fan and even dusting artwork on the walls. But be careful that you don't break anything. Remember I said when you dust the TV, stabilize it with one hand. Be very careful when you're cleaning. Don't get in such a hurry that you're careless. If you're not done vacuuming, you can finish after the episode, or sweeping, of course, if it's a hard floor. I hope you got your living room looking great during this episode, and I hope you found some lost treasure in the couch. Happy cleaning, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.